Hi, Muse followers. This is Marla Miller from marlamiller.com. We just about made the transition complete from Marketing the Muse to marlamiller.com. I thank all of you for subscribing, and I hope that you're enjoying the 41-minute query workshop that we've offered as our way of saying thank you to all of you for following us for the last 3 years and also for making the shift with us. Change is hard, as we kind of know from the country, but change is possible, and we're having fun at marlamiller.com. There's going to be all kinds of good stuff coming, so I hope that you enjoy, and I hope that you also give me feedback, because really I can adjust based on what my subscribers and what my followers really need to see and read at Marketing the Muse. Okay, we've got a query letter here, and he's been waiting for a while, and I don't want him to wait anymore. I also have 2 query letters from the Southern California Writers Conference that I will be posting, because we didn't get to them in our workshops, and I promised them that I would give them feedback very soon. It was a fabulous workshop. I'm going to be doing a write-up on the Southern California Writers Conference Fall Conference in Newport Beach. We had such a good time. And please, the next one is February of 2011, and that's their flagship conference in San Diego, and it really is worth your while. Okay, here's a query letter, and this is a novel. Here we go. Dear Blank, Oil and God. That is the title of my new contemporary fiction novel, as well as the crux of my story and the crux of the great problems that plague the world today. There is no historical account of the Exodus except that written in the Bible. When a rabbi discovers words written more than 3 millennia ago describing a different version of those events, a story of an ignoble Moses written not by God but by the sons of Pharaoh, his faith is shaken and the quest is set in motion to determine its truth, which, if proven, could refute biblical history and jeopardize the very foundation of the world's great religions. This is the MacGuffin of Oil and God, an 81,000-word adventure story rife with history, religion, and politics, Middle East intrigue, and the lascivious relationship between a savvy LA realtor and her boyfriend, an LAPD detective, who in the end do not resolve the religious quandary, but do help unravel the conflict over oil and water that has been a roadblock to Middle East peace for generations. It is a Jewish Da Vinci Code, which I hope will appeal to that same marketplace. I'm an emergency room physician. I'm pretty good at stitching up lacerations. I enjoy stitching a story together more. I have 2 feature film credits. He names them. I've written 10 primetime television dramas. He names them. And for 10 years I wrote a series of newspaper columns. He names the columns. My debut novel, the science fiction thriller, he names it, was published in hardcover by Medallion Press in December 2009 and is in bookstores now. As a novelist, I've never had an agent. My first book was released by Medallion, a small independent publisher, not POD or Vanity. Without an agent, I have been shut out of having my work read by more prominent publishers, and so I am now seeking your representation to take Oil and God and my future efforts to another level. I expect to be an active participant in our success, and I believe that's it. Okay. What do I think of this? Well, I think that it is, frankly, all over the place. I don't quite know what this novel is about, but let's go through it just a little bit, because I want to give this author some decent feedback. Okay, in the first paragraph, he mentions the word crux twice. I would take a look at that. You really don't want to put the same word in a sentence twice if you don't have to. Okay. He also says that it's a contemporary fiction novel. Contemporary fiction novel. What is a novel? It's fiction. So when you use both words to describe what you're writing, that immediately telegraphs to an agent that you are at least a novice at the publishing end of this business, because you don't need to call a novel fiction. That's what it is. So contemporary novel will suffice. Okay. So in that first sentence, and I want you to look at this because it's also on the website, I have 2 speed bumps that have taken me out of this story: contemporary fiction and crux. Okay. Essentially, here's what essentially, here is what this query letter says. It says that Oil and God begins by telling a story about one thing, but it doesn't tell that story. Instead, it tells a story about another thing. So instead of telling a story about whether the Bible is a legitimate work, which is, I believe, what we were told this story was going to be about. It was going to be a Da Vinci Code, figuring out if, in fact, the Bible was written by noble forces or ignoble forces, right? Okay. But then the author goes on in the second paragraph where he attempts to consolidate the story. He says it's really not about that because they don't find that out. Instead, what they do is they discover what is keeping peace in the Mideast. And in fact, what's keeping peace in the Mideast is our conflict over oil. Okay. Well, I'm confused. And so if it's a story about that, then I think that that's what the story should be about. So otherwise, it seems to me that he starts out by giving us a red herring, because in fact, we're not going to be focused on the biblical interpretation or a different version of what the Bible was. We're going to be focused on politics. And the people who are going to be telling us this story are a realtor, LA realtor, and her boyfriend, who's an LAPD detective. So, if that were the case, then I really would not. I would clear my throat a bit more before I rewrote this query, and lead with what this story is about and who's going to be telling it. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say there, because based on the second paragraph, I actually don't know what this story is about. And I'm watching time here because I could go on about this query letter, but I don't want to. In terms of the credits that this author has offered, I think it's terrific that he has all these credits. And so as an agent, what I'm wondering is why he has not used his connections to advance the selling of this story. He's got terrific credits. I would take a look at that, because those credits are offering a message and a meta message. The message is, I've got creds. The meta message is, but they're not enough to get me agent representation as of yet. So I'm a little perplexed about that as well. I think that less is more, and I would really encourage this writer, who's also a physician, to write less and tell me more. The fact that he's a physician and this story really has nothing to do with medicine is also a bit off-putting. So I kind of don't know what this author is wanting us to know. Is the physician information supposed to advance this story? Other than saying that he likes stitching stories better than he likes stitching people, I don't know why he's put it in there. So I think that this I think that this author has work to do. I would invite him to resubmit this query letter. And if he would like to follow up in an email with me, I invite him to do that as well, because I'm confused. And I know that that's not what this author wants to hear, but that's what this writer is left with after reading his query letter. Okay, until the next time, thank you for tuning into MarlaMiller.com. Tell your friends about us.